chat about a few simple tools and materials you'll need. A pair of scissors to cut the ribbon, 2 yards of 1/4-inch double-faced satin ribbon, a pair of lightweight pruners to harvest and trim the lavender, and of course, the star of the show, a small bundle of straight, fresh lavender stems. There are a couple of other items that I'd like you to have with you, and that is a bit of patience and about 30 to 45 minutes to weave the wand. Let's get started. Hello, and welcome back. Be sure to check the project files for answers to the top 10 questions about growing lavender. I've also included a list of recommended varieties for weaving lavender wands. The variety I'm using here is Lavandula X Intermedia Grosso. Now, you don't have to know the technical name for the lavender, just know that you need long stems, probably at least 10 to 12 inches. Interestingly enough, these 2 bundles that I have here are from the same plant. I've simply harvested the straight ones from the top of the plant and the curved ones from the side of the plant. Be sure you pick your straightest stems because you'll have the most success with long, straight stems. The curved stems that we harvest, usually we'll bundle them up, hang them to dry, and then process them for the fragrant dried lavender buds. Welcome back. Now it's time to clean the stems. The first thing I'm going to have you do is remove any leaves that are along the stem. They get in the way of the ribbon and can cause a little problem. Then you'll find on some stems there'll be side branching. Take those off carefully just to make sure you don't break the stem. And finally, remove any of the buds that are located below the main flower head. You'll notice them because of the gap between the extra buds and the flower head above. You now have an odd number of stems cleaned and ready to gather up with your ribbon. Now you have your stems cleaned of the leaves, the side branches, and any extra flower buds below the flower head. I always recommend that my students trim the stems to about 12 to 13 inches. This makes it much easier for weaving, especially for your first time. Begin by taking your ribbon and tying a simple knot below the flower head. Gently push the ribbon up against the flowers so you have a nice, snug little bouquet ready to begin your weaving. Welcome back. We're getting ready to bend the stems, but first, use the blunt side of your pruners to lightly dent the stems just below the ribbon. This helps prevent breakage on the stems. Turn your bundle upside down and begin bending the stems one at a time down over the flower head. As you bend them, be sure to space the stems evenly to form a cage around the flowers. Now we're ready to finally begin weaving. Welcome back. I bet you thought you'd never get to the point of the weaving. The most important part right now is having that extra tool, patience. This first row will be a little frustrating, just as you develop the pattern of over, under weaving. But after you're done with the first row, the odd number of stems will automatically send you in a slow spiral as you enclose the flower heads. So simply proceed over and under, over and under. When you're done with that first row, the second one will be a lot easier, and as you proceed, each row will get easier and easier. I promise. I've done a lot of these lavender wands, and it does take a little practice. Sometimes along the way, especially here in the beginning when you're just starting weaving, you'll find that some of the buds peek out from under the ribbon. You can choose to either leave them in place and remove them when you finish the weaving, or just simply pull them off as you proceed. I have a couple of hints for you as you begin this weaving. With 3 or 4 rows in place, you may want to pause and adjust the stems so that they're evenly spaced. The other hint I have is that I use my thumb to lift the ribbon so that as I pick up the stem that I'm weaving under, the ribbon is out of the way, and then I pull the ribbon off my thumb, off the nail, and snug up against the previous row. So I want you to continue weaving until you've completely covered the flower heads. And we'll wrap it up. Here we are at the end. The flowers have disappeared. We've completely enclosed them in the satin ribbon. Now let's take the rest of the ribbon, wrap the stems and then tie a temporary bow. Wait 2 or 3 days for the stems to dry. They'll be nice and straight and ready to add anything else you want.